We're still months away from the next NFL season, but with the bulk of free agency and the draft behind us, it's time for some way too early team predictions.
What the fuck can I do with a nigga that's almost 30 years old?
The New Orleans Saints select Tyler Shuck.
In the 2025 season, one team that will not only regress, but I also happily predict, as a Panthers fan myself, to be the worst team is the New Orleans Saints. Sure, they'd be the #1 pick next year and get whatever quarterback's good next year, but I'm not thinking about that right now. Derek Carr just retired, which led to some mixed reactions by the fan base. A lot happy because him retiring moved a good bit of his guaranteed cap hit, but also a lot mad because that means that they're just stuck with the other guys on the roster.
I ain't got no positivity. I hope every nigga associated with that fucking team have a terrible life.
Obviously, this team is plummeting towards a reset as they have been for a few seasons now, and with some of their offseason moves, it seems like they are finally embracing that reset themselves, whether they want to or not.
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there.
This team is in a strange situation here, and they could absolutely come out of this season better than anyone expected. But, due to their lack of quarterback, I just don't see it for them this year. The Colts currently have a quarterback room with Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, and newly drafted Riley Leonard. Anthony Richardson has had a really strange first 2 years, missing most of his first season and playing pretty bad in the second. Tapping out mid-game probably didn't help his case either.
I just told saying I just needed a break right there.
Daniel Jones has been in the league even longer, and he doesn't have a great track record so far either. And who the hell knows with Riley? I mean, that guy hasn't played a single snap in the NFL yet, so we'll see. To be fair, the Colts overall made some good choices in the offseason. I think Tyler Warren was a good decision. I think the Bynum and Ward signings will no doubt improve their defense, which had quite a few issues last season. If the Colts do indeed regress and none of their current quarterbacks take that step forward, then that puts them in a much better position next season to draft a new one.
Wilson. Down he goes at the 30.
I think that this is the year the Steelers are finally going to finish under 500. Who's throwing for them? Mason Rudolph? Aaron Rodgers? Will Howard? Mason Rudolph showcased last year exactly what the problem with starting him in a game is. Aaron Rodgers isn't signed right now anyway, but even if he does, what stellar ability does he have left in the tank that, let's be real, their quarterbacks last year couldn't do? Maybe a decade ago that sort of signing would change a lot more, but at this point he probably should just hang it up. Will Howard is way too much of a mystery right now to predict, but I wouldn't be surprised if he starts at some point during the season. If the offense is as quarterbackless as I expect them to be, then I imagine things will look similar to last year. Offensive struggles and the defense having to compensate, but I think that the offensive struggles will be too much for them to keep winning games this time around.
Darnold is brought down with a sack.
So this team had tons of regular season success this past season, but I think that the team will struggle to recreate it. The Vikings this season, barring further injury, will be starting JJ McCarthy. This playing time is coming after missing the entirety of the first season, meaning that this is essentially his first year in the NFL. No doubt it will take some time to get comfortable and perhaps even more notably shake off the jitters from not playing for a whole year. Justin Jefferson had another good season as he usually does, and wouldn't be surprising to continue to see him shine. The reason I don't see the season going well is due to JJ McCarthy's reliance on the rushing attack in college. The Vikings struggled running the ball, especially towards the end of the season, and their lone playoff game where their leading rusher Aaron Jones made little impact on the game as a whole. The Rams took full advantage of this by in turn crushing the Vikings' passing attack as well, leading to 9 sacks and 1 fumble recovered for a touchdown. The acquisition of Donovan Jackson in the draft will help, but the playoffs proved that they were more than one player away from fixing the issue. I also don't think Jordan Mason will be enough of a game changer to fix the issue either.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
So I'm not sure if this is a hot take, but with Sam Darnold likely starting for the Seahawks, I can only imagine that he is going to perform worse. This is a weaker offense than the Vikings had for him, and that's no slight against the Seahawks. The Vikings had a really good offense. I don't believe that the team acquired a true wide receiver 1 to replace DK Metcalf, and he also definitely won't have a receiver quite on Justin Jefferson's level. Jackson Smith-Njigba is probably the closest to that he's going to get. He did a pretty good job last year, but Cooper Kupp, who I actually forgot even joined the team, I completely forgot about that signing until this video, clearly had his own set of problems last season himself. The Seahawks Seahawks last season had a pretty middle-of-the-pack defense, and I don't think that it's going to change too much in the next season. But the reason why the Seahawks will ultimately regress is that I feel that they lost more than they actually gained. If Sam Darnold's career so far shows anything, it's that Sam Darnold will likely not be the future for the Seahawks beyond his contract, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Milroe shows up at some point this season. The Vikings struggled with running the ball, especially towards the end of the season. In their lone playoff game where their leading rusher Aaron Rodgers... What the fuck?